Am I missing something here? The Labour Party, who are hopeful of a landslide victory next year, have won just 1 out of 3 by-elections at a time of economic crisis and with the governing Conservative Party suffering historic levels of unpopularity. By failing to gain Boris Johnson's old constituency of Uxbridge and South Ruislip, Keir Starmer has gifted Rishi Sunak a very precious political resource: hope. And fury about Mayor Sadiq Khan's hated green ULEZ policy, which will see hard-working Londoners pay £12.50 every time they want to get in their car, demonstrates that Starmer's eco-mania could blunt their momentum in the run-up to the next election. Life is all about managing expectations, and with the Tories expected to lose all 3 by-elections, to hold a seat in Labour-dominated London starts to look like one of the big headlines of the night. This is not to take away from the Lib Dems' highly impressive win in Somerton and Frome, where they overturned a Conservative majority of 19,000, demonstrating that Ed Davey's yellow sandal-wearing army are certainly on the march in the Tory-dominated heartlands of the South West. And fair play to Labour for their historic win in the safe Tory seat of Selby and Ainsty. But everything that glitters is not gold, and it's worth noting that a big swing to Labour in that Yorkshire seat was in part fuelled by stay-at-home Tories, who will no doubt re-emerge in a year's time to put their X in the box for fear of a Labour government. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson looks to have missed a trick by not hanging on to his Uxbridge seat. Presumably, he walked away for fear he would suffer a humiliating loss. But a candidate with a fraction of his charisma and profile, Steve Tuckwell, tucked away an impressive win, hanging on to the seat by just shy of 500 votes after a recount. Good news for Labour, who have seen the election of the 25-year-old Keir Mather in a safe Tory seat. Bad news for anyone that thought one Keir was already enough. Mather is now the youngest MP in the House of Commons, and good luck to him. I've got no doubt he has his talents. But Labour will be exposed to criticism that this young candidate not only knows little about life in the real world, but as a former student of Oxford University and having then worked as a parliamentary researcher, he's not exactly man of the people. His selection adds to the image of Labour as being dominated by the out-of-touch metropolitan Liberal elite. It was a shocking night for the Tories, absolutely, but not as bad as it could have been. And it was a strong night for Labour, absolutely, but not as good as it could have been. It's only the Lib Dems who will be celebrating an unqualified success from yesterday's results. So what is my verdict? Well, with inflation coming down, strike chaos being gradually resolved, and with Rishi Sunak hopeful of avoiding recession, making progress with the NHS backlog and getting his illegal immigration bill across the line, the Tories look well placed in the next few months, not for victory necessarily, but certainly recovery, which is a headache for Labour. Because with just a narrow victory for Labour at the next election, and perhaps a majority of a few seats, the hard-left Corbynites in Starmer's own party will make governing a daily nightmare. And if it's a hung parliament, Starmer's hope of getting into number 10 could be up in smoke altogether. Starmer is still way ahead, no question. But there are now grounds for hope for Sunak, which there weren't just 24 hours ago. In this political prize fight, Sunak is on the canvas for sure, but the referee hasn't counted to 10 yet. Sunak's bleeding, but Starmer's sweating. It's rocky for everyone. There are still a few rounds to go, and it remains unclear which of these two men is going to deliver the knockout punch. But it's all to play for. Ding, ding.